Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm excited to talk to you about some of my favorite skincare products. But before we jump in, I do want to introduce myself. I realize I'm really historically bad at introducing myself on camera on this channel. So hi, my name is Delyn, and today we're going to be talking about some of my must-have, like anti-aging, more specifically skincare products. And as we get started, I also want to throw out a quick thank you to my friends in the comment section of previous videos who said that you would be interested in seeing a video like this. So let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like it's important to kind of give some context as we go into talking about this. So one thing that you should know about me, or a couple things you should know about me, is that I am almost 3 years old, 32, almost 33, be 33 in August. And I historically have done a lot of damage to my skin. I grew up playing sports outside from the time I was 5 years old. And I mean outside all the time, travel ball, softball team, and I played through college, and I wasn't the best at taking care of my skin. Not to mention that I came up in a generation in high school where tanning beds were ridiculously popular, and I laid in a tanning bed pretty much all through high school and even a lot of college. So admittedly, I have done a lot of damage to my skin via the sun and sun exposure. And sadly, it is all too true that as you age, sun exposure in your youth is really a factor about it will make your skin age faster. So that is something that I'm dealing with. I think I would describe my skin as mostly like combo. I'm pretty normal towards the outside of my skin. I get pretty dry right here on my chin. And those issues that I have with combination skin only really get addressed in makeup, I feel like. I think the other part, like the actual skin part of my collection and part of how I treat my skin is more so geared towards like taking better care of my skin, and also a bulk of it goes to anti-aging because that is what I struggle with, seeing as how I've done so much damage to my skin in the past. And I think it also goes to say that I'm by no means an expert on this, but I do like to think of myself as a lazy researcher. So I do want to make sure that the products that I buy, that I'm buying, if I'm willing to invest money into them, because let's be honest, skincare is not like cheap. So if I'm gonna invest good money in it, I want to know that I'm actually gonna put ingredients on my face that work. And at the same time, I'm not willing to go scour through like scientific articles, but I do a really good job, I think, of finding YouTubers that I trust and YouTubers that I see actually scour like articles. And by far the most important person that I found to get my skincare information from is a channel called HotandFlashy. She is an older woman, definitely more mature skin than I have, but her skin, she's also done a ton of sun damage to her skin, but her skin is amazing. And I've seen it transform because I've been watching her for years and years. So I will link one of her videos in the cards so that you can check her out, because when it comes to ingredient investigation, she's very good, and she's probably my favorite skincare YouTuber that I watch. So let's go ahead and get into those specific skincare ingredients that I have to have in my skincare routine. So the first ingredient that I want to talk about is probably the one that is most tried and true. It's the most like sound in research that actually does something to your skin. It actually does help with anti-aging qualities of your skin. And with that is also a little bit harder to get your hands on, at least if you're in the US, you have to have a dermatologist prescribe it to you. So I'm talking about tretinoin, or it's a derivative of a retin A. And this is a product that I get through a service called Curology. I have in the past gotten it through a dermatologist, but I found that, you know, whatever your copay is, mine was pretty steep to go to a dermatologist, and they want you to come back, you know, at least once a year to get that like seen about, or to get an update and get your prescription updated. And I found that it added up quickly. So the service that I have ended up falling in love with is Curology. And a little bit about Curology, if you're not aware, they assign you to a dermatologist, or you work with someone, and you fill out a little quiz about your skin goals and your skin type, and you submit a couple photos of your skin, and they give you a prescription of like 3 big ingredients that help target those like issues and needs. So mine are tretinoin, which is that derivative of vitamin A, or the retin A, and then I have azelaic acid and niacinamide. So my cocktail is specifically aimed at anti-aging, wrinkles, and pore size. I have pretty large pores right here on my face, not on my nose, weirdly. I don't know. I think most of this, honestly, now that I look back at it, it is definitely from skin damage from sun exposure, and a little bit up here too. So niacinamide, I'll talk about that a little bit later. That specifically is triggering that. And then I also have some sunspots and pigmentation from, again, sun damage. So I believe that is what the oxalic acid is also helping target too. And I hope I'm not beating a dead horse here, but if you're someone who's struggling with wrinkles, then I definitely think that you should try tretinoin. Now, I will say this, it is not the quickest working thing. It takes a while to see like results, and the longer you use it, the more results you're gonna see. So I've been using this for 3 years probably, and I have seen such a drastic difference in my skin, especially in my forehead lines. I feel like they're a little less deep than they were. And I know for a fact that my skin, like I'll never get rid of my wrinkles without Botox or something like that, but I've seen such an improvement in like the depth of my wrinkles and that kind of thing. And it makes me feel pretty good to know that this is an ingredient that is worth investing in and is actually really worth its salt. Okay, so let's talk about another category of ingredients, antioxidants. Antioxidants are another like power ingredient that I want in my skincare, both morning and night. So unlike the tretinoin, which I only use at night, the antioxidants I want on my face all day. And I have 2 products that I get my antioxidants from. One is vitamin C. This is kind of the gold standard in antioxidant. Antioxidants are really helpful in fighting free radicals. And so they are really important for your skin. So vitamin C is what I put on my face during the day. And then at night, I put this on during the day too, but I also wear this. This is a little bit too intense. The vitamin C is a little bit too intense to pair with the tretinoin. It's like a legitimate acid. So you don't really want to mix these two. But at night, this is super gentle. This is a coenzyme Q10 serum. The one thing I really love about Timeless is that they have their ingredients on the bottle. They're very transparent about what they put in their items. And for that reason, I think they're just trustworthy. Coenzyme Q10 is an antioxidant, and it's actually very gentle. This serum is a yellow kind of color, so it may look like it is not good, but it's fine. And I believe the shelf life on this is like 2 years or something. So I go through about one of these in a year. Probably it takes me a little less than a year to go through one of these like giant 4-ounce bottles that I get from Timeless, but I love this thing. I will not be without it. So not only do I love the experience of putting this on because it just feels good, but I also know that it's packed full of like really, really good ingredients. So if you're looking for a way to add a good antioxidant to your day and night time routine, this one here, this coenzyme Q10, or probably any other serum with a coenzyme Q10 in it, is gonna be, in my experience, pretty gentle. So this is the one I use, but I think it's a really great antioxidant to have in my skincare routine, and it's one that I would absolutely not go without. And before we move on to the next category of skincare ingredients that I want to talk about, I do want to say that both of this, the Curology, the tretinoin, and the vitamin C serum, both of these are a little bit harder for your skin to get used to. So if you've not used either one of these ingredients, it's something that you have to kind of work yourself into. And there are other videos out there on the internet that talk about how to get started with these kind of products. I know it took me a while. Like I think I started applying this once a week, and then every like 2 or 3 days, and then every other day, and then every day. And then this one here, I kind of did the same thing. Like on days when I didn't have this on, I would put this on in the morning. And sometimes I just had to listen to my skin. If I felt like it was too much, or if I felt like my face was starting to maybe be a little overwhelmed by it, I had to back off and just follow what my skin kind of let me know was good. Whereas this here, I had no issue starting, and it's not harsh on my skin at all. Okay, and the next skincare ingredient set that I make sure to include in my skincare is peptides. And this I get from my Matrixyl Synth 6 serum from Timeless. Let me make sure I don't mess this up, so I'm gonna consult my notes here. But peptides are actually, anytime you hear the word peptide, you should probably think amino acids. And amino acids help build proteins, especially as we kind of start to age more. Our skin slows down building important proteins like collagen, and I believe probably some other ones. But for example, serums like with good peptides in them, they help stimulate your skin and kind of communicate to your skin like, let's make a little bit more of that protein, that helpful protein. This serum is clear, so smooth, and makes your skin feel so good and hydrated, and it's just easy to put on. Now, I believe The Ordinary has, I believe their buffet serum is really similar to this one. It's got mostly peptides in it, And so if you tried that one and like that one, you probably wouldn't need to go out and run out and buy this one. But I have used the buffet one and I liked it, but I just happened to order, like I just happened to kind of like this brand a little bit better, and when I place bulk orders, I tend to just buy this one. Now, another ingredient that I mentioned before that I get through my Curology bottle here, niacinamide. That's an ingredient that I also like to put into my daytime skincare routine, but I don't want to use this because this would be too harsh to wear both day and night. But this here, I get my niacinamide in the daytime from my CeraVe facial moisturizing lotion. It's the PM lotion. But again, this is just a really, really nice drugstore affordable kind of moisturizing lotion, and it has niacinamide in it. And if you're someone who is new to niacinamide too, that's something to keep in mind, that niacinamide can be a little bit irritating to your skin. So sometimes, I know when I was trying to get all of these introduced and working together, I sometimes had to skip this moisturizer because again, the niacinamide can be a little bit irritating, but it's such a good like skin, like especially like firmness, and again, those pore sizes, it really helps with that kind of thing. So I have to give a shout out to that product because this one probably out of all of them is the most bang for my buck, and I really enjoy this product. And I've gone through so many bottles of this, both my husband and I have. Before I wrap this video up, I do have 3 more products that I want to give a shout out to. These I don't think necessarily work towards anti-aging, but I do want to say that for the anti-aging products that I just showed you, these other 3 are essentials to me in terms of how to like amp up the quality of what I'm already using. So for example, using a tretinoin is making your skin turn over faster, and therefore hopefully keeping wrinkles and things like that from deeply setting into the skin, because it's making your skin level, it's making your skin turn over a little quicker. So with that being said, you can imagine that if your skin's turning over quicker, that you might be a little bit more prone to need to like help get some of that skin on the very top layer off. So for that reason, I have this AHA 30%, BHA 2%, or ordinary. It's a peeling solution. I know this gets a lot of buzz here on YouTube, and I think for good reason. It's very affordable. It is a chemical exfoliant that is actually very effective at doing its job. Now, I use this about once every 2 weeks, if I'm honest. I try to do it once every week, but a lot of times I just forget, or I end up using like some other, like, because I'm trying to use things up, I use up some other kind of exfoliant. I'm trying my best to get rid of all my physical exfoliants and only use chemical in the future, just because I think chemical is slightly better for my skin. But if you're someone who is going to use something like tretinoin or something that's making your skin turn over more often, you probably also want to include something like this somewhere in your skincare routine. And lastly, I have 2 cleansers that I want to make mention of. I don't know if I've always been someone, I don't think I have acne prone skin, but I've always had the occasional pretty like big breakout here and there. And you know, part of me thinks that in my adult years, it might not be so much because of hormones anymore, but I think it might be because, again, sometimes I'm not the best at removing some of that skin that's turning over. So these 2 items here are like my saving grace for when I feel like my skin's struggling with wanting to break out. I have a salicylic acid cleanser from CeraVe. Salicylic acid, goodness gracious, I'm getting so tongue-tied. Y'all have no idea. I've had to stop and like restart a different segment 100 different times. But anyways, this salicylic acid cleanser is actually really good. It's something that I have gone through multiple bottles of too. And salicylic acid is an actual ingredient that actually does penetrate into your pores and actually helps deeply clean your pores. So that one's really good. But if you're someone who struggles with fungal bacteria or like fungal outbreaks, because there is like a normal amount of fungi that lives on our face. It's just there. You can't get rid of it. But if it gets too overactive, then it can cause breakouts. And for that, I use a Vanity Cream Bar. And these are just 2 cleansers that I always have sitting around. Sometimes I use them like every night of the week, and sometimes I may not touch them for a couple of days. But these are things that I just think make my anti-aging products work better, specifically that turning over of the skin. And so I wouldn't feel right not mentioning those. And with that being said, I do have 2 videos. I have a morning like AM skincare routine and like a get unready with me where I take off and show you my nighttime skincare routine. I will link those 2 in the cards as well. But if you have any questions or have any thoughts or any also feedback, I don't do a lot of these skincare videos, but it is something that I do care about and think is important, at least for me and my routine. So feel free to leave me, you know, any thoughts, questions, and that kind of thing. Make sure you say hello in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.